Hello, you're welcome to the fifth video in this tutorial series, and in this video we'll be learning how to create a 3D game level. So in this 3D game level design, we will be using the assets we imported in the last video. So if you don't know how to import the 3D assets properly in a very organized way, you can watch the video in the fourth video that I have released before this video. So the next thing that we want to do is that we want to be able to work on the 3D assets that we'll be using in this particular level. Now, the first thing you need to understand about Godot is that everything is designed in scenes. Okay, so if you remember the video we talked about the scene, so that the scene is a collection of nodes. So each scene is a collection of nodes, and you use different nodes to do various things in a scene. But the most important thing is that those scenes can be combined together. So you can have a scene that represents the player, a scene that represents a box, a scene that represents a room, and you combine them together to create a particular level. So the first thing we're going to do right now is to create the various scenes that we'll be using to create our first level in this game. Now, if you don't have the skills to be able to create these 3D assets that I'm going to be using here, you'll be able to download the 3D assets in the links I have in the description. So right now, let's go ahead to open our 3D assets because that's where we're going to be starting from. And down here, I'm going to go to the closed rooms. Okay, this is what we have, the closed rooms. And let's open it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to do new inherited first. So if I open it, I see that I have it's closed on one side. And these extensions enable us to be able to join them with other assets. Okay, so we're going to just go ahead to bring them all together. So the first thing we want to do here is to make sure that our scene is working very fine. So we'll have the lights, so we can be able to optimize the light. If you want to have access to these things, you can click on this button here, open in an editor. So you just click on open anyway, and this will give you access to this. So right here, everything is one. So I can just go ahead to click here. Let's click on this and have access to different materials that we have used here. So I have the material for the light. So if you want the light, remember our game is blue. It has this kind of blue color around it. So we can go ahead to go over here to double click on this, just click once here, go down to, now if you don't know how to work with material, the albedo is the color it has. Okay, so but this is controlled by the emission. That's a shiny color here, that's white. If you change this to red, you actually see that's what's controlling it. So I would like to change it to a sort of blue color here, and I would like to increase the energy on it. Something like this. Okay, so you won't see the beauty of this until we add our HDR image. So right now we will not be talking about that. We'll just be pushing our work together here. So what I'll do right now is that I will go ahead to save this. I can just close this particular one here. Close this. I already have this here, so I'm going to just do this. Right click on this and save scene as. So I'm going to go ahead to create more things here. I'm going to create a folder called scene, and I'm also going to create another folder. I'm going to go back, create another folder called level, and put as there, levels. So now I'll select that of the scene and I'll call this closed room 1, and I'll save it. So you can remove this one now because this is a GBD file. So the editing we did on it has been updated here as the blue color. So the next one, I'm going to open this one too, and open. I'm going to use let's use open anyway this time around. And if you look at here, it seems like the thing has been updated to here as the blue color. So we'll have the room. So we're going to right click here and use save scene as. So I'll go back So I'm going to save this also as a scene. Go back to scene, and I'm going to call this close room 2 and save that, and go ahead to open the next one. So I'm going to get my boxes, so double click on that, open anyway, everything is in the center. So I'm going to select that and right click, save scene as, and go back to my scenes and save this as a box. So this will be the obstruction that we're going to be having in the game. So go down to our hello room and double click on that, open anyway. So the hello room is actually open. So you see that the hello room is still white here. So I'm just going to go ahead to change, because the materials that this one has and the other one, they are different. So I'm just going to select the cube and click once here and have access to all the surfaces. Okay, if you want to be able to optimize any of this, you can be able to open up here and do that. So but we're going to be returning to that when we'll start working with our HDR lights, and then we can optimize most of our the walls to make it look more realistic. Right now it's not looking realistic, but it's going to look realistic once we put the HDR image and the lights. So down here I'm going to touch the lights too, go down to my emission, change this to a blue color and increase the energy too. So I have something like this. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead to save this scene as, go back and scene Holo Room 1, and I will go ahead to open the Holo Room 3, open anyway. This one also has the lights and it has been updated, the color has been updated, so I'll just go ahead to save the scene as Holo Room. Always remember to save everything properly so that you have access to all of them. They will be very organized. So I can just snap this and go down to my player and double click on my player, and I would like to do open anyway. So the reason why I use open anyway is that I will have access to all these controls here. So the thing that you want to do is this: you want to be able to change a few things. So right now we want to select this player here. This will be very important right now. So if you haven't done this, you have to pay attention right now to what I'm doing, because this could change everything you're doing in your game. Very, very important. So the first thing you want to do, if you click here, you see that this is a special node. Okay, it's a special node that we are using here. So we want to be able to change this, because to make this a scene for a player and save it, we need to change this special to a kinematic body, because kinematic bodies is the node that enables us to be able to move a particular body in. It's used for characters. It has the ability to move, but special nodes don't have the ability to move with some certain velocity. So I'm going to click on chain type, and when I click on the chain type, I will type kinematic body. So right now I have changed this to a kinematic body, okay? And I will just go ahead to do something here. If you look at this, I have my kinematic body. Right click on it, and I'm going to add a child node called collision shape. So the collision shape will create some sort of collision that enables us to be detected by different bodies. Maybe when we touch the box or we touch the door, it will be able to detect. So once you click on this collision body, you will have the ability to click here, and I like using my capsule for my characters. So when you have this now, you can rotate it. So you can go to transform, and I think on the x-axis 90 degrees. So you have that there, and you can be able to bring this up and use this red to make it more effective. Click and drag it backwards to have to cover the entire character. So you have something like this. I think this is too long, so I'm going to bring it together and push this down a bit like that. I think this is very much okay. It's within the around the character. So now the next thing we want to do is that we want to click on this animation player and turn up some things. So we're going to be doing this when we start working with the character, because this is a very important part of our animation. So if you remember here, we said if you play this, so it's not cycling. We need it to be cycling, like, you know, to continue to loop on its own. So you have to turn this on, go to over here and walk backwards, turn on the loop. So that means that if you move, it will keep on moving on its own. Very important. Then over here, go to walk forward, do the same thing to it. Okay, so we'll have this here. So that's basically, you'll have the kinematic body down there, and the armature, you don't have to worry too much about it. Leave it that way. So I'm going to right click and make sure that this is saved as a scene. So let's be sure that this has been saved as a scene. So we don't have a player here, so that means we have to save this as a player. So we'll save as a player. So these are the things that will be combined to make our scenes. So now the other things we need to do, because the next thing we want to do right now, like we have added collision to the player, we need to add some level of collision to this bodies here. If not, when this car begins to work, you will be able to pass through the walls, and we don't want that. So if you select this now, you see that this is still the spatial. Okay, so one of the things you could do is that you can, and this is a mesh instance. So what I would like to do is I'll right click and I'll add a static body. Okay, and that static body, I'm going to add a collision to it, collision shape to it. So look at what we're going to do with the collision shape right now. I'm going to change this collision shape to a box. Okay, and I'm going to just do this. So you can be able to create this for performance sake. You can actually go up to here, select this and use a mesh and create a single convex mesh. So but I realized that when I do this, it slows down my laptop, because I'm trying to make this easy for almost everybody that will be working here. So you can still be able to use the create single convex collision or simplify. You can try out with different ones and see the one that will work very well for your scene. But for me, I think this will work very well for me. So it has worked very well for me, and I think it will do very well for you. So we just create this, and I'm just going to make sure that this is it will take a longer time, but it's more effective for me. So I can just push this to somewhere here and push this. Okay, so I have something like this. Okay, so as long as it's long enough to be able to capture the character, it's good. So I can just push this back here. And push this to let's expand this part. Okay, so we'll have something like this. So we want to make sure that it's able to touch the wall or not passing through it. So we'll do Ctrl D to duplicate it, and we just shift this one to this place. That's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to do another one. Let's push this back, it's too long. Okay, so we'll go ahead to duplicate this one too, and I'm going to rotate it on the y-axis, so 90 degrees, push it back this way. And so let's leave it that size. Okay, so let's save this for the meantime and go ahead to the next one. So I'm going to select the box. For the box, because the box will be moving, so we have to pay attention to a lot of things. So the first thing we'll do here is that we'll have to right click on this and change this also into an area, and select that, right click and add a collision shape. So the collision shape enables us to detect things. Okay, so if you go to your inspector, you can be able to select this and select your box, and it will give you that. So the area that we change this to is actually for detecting physics body. Okay, so that's what it does. So it can be able to detect and then send a signal. So we want to be able to use it so that it's easy for us to animate it. And open anywhere. So if you look at this particular one, well, it's a bit different from the other ones. So the way it was imported, we'll have this shape. Everything has been combined together here, and we'll have this one. So this is separate on its own, and this one is separate on its own. Okay, so what you want to do right now is it came with our animation, but we don't really need the animation, so we might be deleting the animation. Let's delete it because we don't really need this particular one. All right, so we'll have this here. So coming over here, we want to change this to we're going to change this to a static body, and that static body is going to have a very simple collision shape. So the collision shape is going to have this box. So this will be for the edge here. We're going to use this for the other parts and scale this out this way. And then I'm going to do Control D to duplicate, and just the same way I'll put this one to this side. Okay, so I have these here now. So the next thing I want to do is that we want to add a collision for these doors. So to do that, I'm just going to select this, and there's a mesh instance here. So I'm going to add a new child to it. I'm going to use a static body, and that static body is going to have a collision shape too, and that collision shape will be a box. So I'm going to make it different from the other one so it doesn't conflict with the size of this one, because you notice it's always conflicting when you resize any of them. So I'm going to just scale this down a bit like this, and scale this down and use to cover this door. Okay, so we'll have this working with this particular door here. So I can just select these two and Control D and just drag it down and make it to become the child of this one. So I have this. So this one will now become for this one here. So if you select this plane, you can move it and it moves with the distance there, so it can be able to open. And this one goes with this door. So if you haven't put the collision shape, you won't be able to pass through this door until you have that control worked on. So we're going to be putting another thing here later when we'll be working on the door. So that will be for our for the game over and the win screen. So here we want to also add one more here. So that will be this collision shape here. We're going to duplicate this, Control D, and this one will be, let's see, if we scale this down, it's going to be affecting the other one. So probably we need to do something different here. We need to create a new static body. This new static body is still part of this one, so but it's going to have a different collision shape. So we did this so that we can have one that is different from this other one. So I'm going to do box. So if I'm scaling this, it's not affecting these ones. Okay. So I'm just going to make it to be a wall here. Scale that down here. So we'll have this here. So I'll go ahead to right click and save scene as. Go back here. My scene, smart door room 1. Okay, so that's all for that. We have already added this here. So the next thing we want to be able to create is the level. So let's go ahead to create the level. So the level we're going to be creating will be a 3D scene, and it's going to have a spatial node. So the level right now we made up of a lot of these scenes that we actually have created here, and we'll still be doing some things on them. So but right now they are all separate scenes on their own if you look at all of them here. So let's see what we can be able to create here. So I'm going to right click here and save scene as. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to call this level 1. So for my level 1 right now, you see what I will do. I will right click here and I'll add instance child scene. So I'm going to start first. Let me start from the closed room. I'm going to add the closed room and I'll push it aside. I think it just has one opening here. Let's push it aside. I'll right click and add a new child. I want to be able to use as many as I can, but not too much. So I have this, push it aside, and right click again, it's another one. So we'll have the hollow room, and there is a problem here. Okay, I think there's no problem. I selected everything, that was the reason why. So right click and instance, have the hollow room 2 and push it aside too. We're going to bring these things together. Right click and look for the smart door, go down, smart door, got that. So this .tscn, that's the format for the scene. So this we are trying to get that other time is glb, so don't get it glb, you have to get a scene. So open that. And lastly, I would like to get the other one. Here. And then we also have the Holo Room 3. Okay, so let's use it to create a very simple level right now. So I'm going to just go ahead to select this. This one will be here, and this out of there, and this one is already here. So I'm going to drop this here, and this one. So let's say, for example, we'll have this is a closed room, so I would like to allow the closed room to be joining. Let's say, for example, we can rotate this about 180 degrees and have this room come to face here. Then I will select this and have this. I think this should be a closed room, so I want the closed room to be somewhere here. Let's do 90 and have it come to here. So we'll have this coming to join this part here. So I don't think it's perfect, so but I'm working on it. So we'll have something like this. That's good. So the next thing we want to get, let's get this one. So let's say the ones we can be able to get to work here. I want completely hollow room. Okay, that's it there. So we'll have something here. So we'll have a long room like this. That's good. Okay, so make sure it's aligned properly. And then we'll have this one here. So this, you can continue using them for different things. So but I think, let's see the ones that will serve us. So we'll have this. This will also serve us here. So we can go for 180 degrees and just push this one to join here. I think this will do a good job for us. Push this up a bit, push it back. Let's step into the scene and we'll have a long scene that is going very far. So we'll have this here. I think this is good, and I'd like to get this one and join here. So let's say this is the end of the game and it's gonna come in from here, enter here, and then get to this part as the end of the game. So we'll have this. Let's see if we could get this one to use to. Let's go for here 90. I think it should be the other way around. Okay, let's delete this closed room one. It's not going to serve us here, so I'm going to delete that. Select this one. Let me see if this will serve us. This also will not serve us. There is a hollow room, so we don't want to use this. So just add the ones you want to add. So I would like to use this one to cover up for these rooms. Control D, and just move this one to join for this particular one here. So to cover this place, so I'm just going to cover here. All right, so I have this. So that not be too big. So we'll have this and push this down here and select this, make this to be, this is already 90. So we need this to be probably, let's try 0, try minus 90. Okay, so we'll have this here. So we'll have this as 90 here, and when I drop this here, I will Control D again and just put this over here. So feel free to design it how you like. So, but make sure that to follow through what I'm doing. Make sure you have the closed room at the edge here, and then the open room here, so that the game starts with the character just somewhere here, and he has to walk through this long road, and he can be able to go through these places here. Okay, I think I like this. So I have this part here, so I have can still be able to go forward continuously, and then has these rooms, and then have to pass through this door. Okay, and then when you pass through this door, this is where the game ends. So we're going to be having a very long stuff. So we're not going to design all of it here in this place, so but I want this to be like a journey, so that you can be able to create an entire level, you know, filled with a lot of obstructions on the road, and we'll be able to learn how to create this. So in the next video, we'll be learning how to add our lights, because we want the scene to look very, very good, because right now it's just looking very simple. Okay, so we want it to look very good as much as possible, so we'll have something like this. So it's quite very nice. So like this video and subscribe to my channel, and please share it with a lot of people, because we're going to be creating a very wonderful scene. Okay,